Good morning, my dear students. 8th standard subject science, chapter number 7, metals and non-metals. In the last lecture, we studied a part of metals about their properties. Today we are going to discuss about non-metals and their physical properties. So here is the non-metals topic. So we have to know about the examples of non-metals. So we can consider non-metals examples as like carbon, sulfur, phosphorus. These are few non-metals. Generally, non-metals are brittle and non-lustrous. That means they will not give you a shine. So here are the properties of non-metals. Before to see this property, let me show you the actual view of non-metals. So in this image you can find non-metals. Examples are like carbon, sulfur, red phosphorus. These are the parts of non-metals, and more many things, more many examples are also there for non-metals, and obviously you can find it out over here. These are not lustrous. Okay. Very first physical property is physical state. At ordinary temperature, non-metals occur as solid, liquid and gases. For example, solid is like carbon, sulfur, phosphorus. I have shown you examples in the image also. You must have seen they are in a solid form. If you want to see in liquid, that is bromine. And in the presence of like gases, non-metals are like hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen. These are the non-metals. So for ordinary temperature, like normal temperature, all these things we are getting in all forms, that like solid, liquid and gases. And here are the examples of the same for solid, liquid, gases. All these are the examples of non-metals only, but through this we can see the state of non-metals, likewise solid, liquid and gases. Next property is luster. Non-metals do not have luster. Obviously they will not give you a shine, except diamond and iodine crystals. Obviously diamond is also non-metal, but it has shine. It has shine, except that remaining all non-metals are not having any kind of shine. So the shine which is present in diamond and iodine crystals only. These two metals, like these two elements are only there which are having shine, and rather than that, remaining whatever the non-metals are there, they all are having, they are all not having a shine. They are not having luster. They do not have any luster. Okay. So we can say in non-metals, diamond and iodine forms in a luster form. Okay. And remaining all compound, they do not have luster. Next, some non-metals are colorless while others have different colors. What is the color of carbon in the form of coal? Obviously black. Sulfur is yellow and bromine is brown. I have shown you in previous figure also. Just remind in your mind all this concept, whatever we have seen in previous minutes. Okay. Now next is brittleness. Take coal and hammer it. See what happens to it. Solid non-metals are brittle. Solid non-metals are brittle. Some non-metals are soft. Diamond, which we can say it's allotrope of carbon, is an exception, which is the hardest natural substance. Diamond is very hard. This is the hardest substance. Next is ductility and malleability. Obviously we have seen the meaning of ductility and malleability in metals. So we can say over here non-metals are neither ductile nor malleable. Next is conduction of heat and electricity. Non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity except graphite. So graphite means it's allotrope of carbon only, and which is very good conductor of electricity. Almost we all are saying like non-metals are bad conductor of heat and electricity, but still over here we can say graphite is a good conductor of electricity and heat. Okay, except this, the remaining non-metals are bad conductor of electricity and heat. Next is density. Non-metals have low densities. Another point is melting and boiling point. Non-metals have low melting and boiling points. Exceptions: the solid non-metals carbon and boron melt at high temperature. As we know, we can say over here that non-metals are having low boiling and melting points, except carbon and boron has a high temperature. Next point is metalloids. Some elements such as arsenic, silicon, germanium, antimony have properties which are intermediate between metals and non-metals. Such elements are called metalloids. Before this, we have seen about metals and non-metals. Now, a quantity or a substance which is having a properties lies between metals and non-metals. Such properties comes in metalloids. Let me show you example for the same in picture form. Here you can observe metalloids, silicon, germanium, arsenic. These are having properties lies between metals and non-metals. It is not clearly non-metal, or we can say it as it is not clearly metal. So a substance which is having a properties lies between metals and non-metals, such substance comes in a metalloids. So as we have seen in the picture, silicon, germanium, antimony, these are having a properties intermediate between metals and non-metals. Such elements are called as metalloids. I hope you all have understood about metalloids. If you have not understand this topic, please ask me. I will send you audio form of this metalloids, because this is new topic this is. Now next we will go ahead with the chemical properties of metals. Since we have seen for metals and non-metals physical properties, what kind of structure and all was there, so that we have seen in physical properties. And in chemical properties we will go ahead with about their electronic configuration, atomic number, all these things will come in chemical properties. So here first chemical property is electronic configuration. Electronic configuration is the basis of chemical behavior of elements. Majority of metals have up to 3 electrons in their outermost shell. So whenever you are studying about the metals, majority we have seen in the outermost orbit 3 electrons was there. So here if we will go ahead with this metals, you can observe here that metal is sodium, magnesium and aluminium. Their atomic number are also over here, that is 11, 12 and 13. If you want to find electronic configuration, as we have studied about the electronic configuration, the formula for the electronic configuration is 2 into n raised to the power of square. So as per that we have to set up this electronic configuration. Electronic configuration comes in K, L, M and shell, and it will be 2, 8, 18, 32. This is the form of the electronic configuration. If you want to divide this 11, then as per the electronic configuration we are writing over here 2, 8, this is 10, and after 10 how many electrons are remaining out of 11? 1 is remaining, so 1 is we are right over here. Similarly for 12 also you have to write 2, 8, it will be 2, and for 13 it is 2, 8, 3. So this is the electronic configuration of these metals. Okay, so next is formation of ions, how ions form. So this comes in chemical properties. Okay, metals have a tendency to lose their valence electron to form positively charged ions, so that is cations. So here you can observe here, that is sodium, it is having electronic configuration of 281. But whenever the sodium forms with it gets a compound, then it should have to complete its outermost orbit, and outermost orbit, in the outermost orbit there should be 8 electrons. Now here 1 electron is remaining, so it is releasing this electron. So hence we can say, because of it is giving electron to another element, so it will get a positive charge. So you can observe here, tendency to lose their valence electrons from positively charged ions, tendency to lose their electrons from positively charged ions. So we can say sodium is losing its electron, that is why it comes positively charged ion. So the plus sign, because of that plus sign comes over here, and 1 electron is removing it is losing its electron, that is why here the outermost orbit is completing and it gets positively charged ion. So and we can say that it is cation. Whenever the positive charge comes over there, we can say it is cation. Okay, next is magnesium. You can observe here, here out in the outermost orbit 2 electrons are over there. Now it is losing its 2 electron, and therefore 2 positive charges are creating over there. 2 positive charges creating over there means we can say 2 cations. Okay, next example is aluminium. Its electronic configuration is 283. Here also, to complete its octet, we have to release this 3 electron. Because of it is releasing the 3 electron, here triple cation comes over there. So this is the solution for ions. This is the solution for ions. Now next chemical properties is reaction with oxygen. So metals combine with oxygen to form their oxide. Whenever the metal combines with the oxygen, we are getting oxides. Likewise, metal is going to react with oxygen. At that time, after reaction, we are getting metal oxide. Any kind of metal is going to react with oxygen, it will convert into metal oxides. Okay, so we can say that the metal oxides are basic in nature. Metal oxides react with acid to form salt and water. Whenever the metal oxides reacts, that time acid, from the acid to salt and water forms. Okay, so if the metal oxide is react with acid, what is going to form? Salt and water. Next chemical reaction is reaction with acid. Take a dilute hydrochloride acid in a test tube, then add zinc dust to it. Take a glowing splinter near the mouth of the tube. Observe the glowing splinter. You will notice some sound coming out from it. Because what is releasing over there? Obviously oxygen. That is why tuck type of sound comes out from the same. So most of the metals react with dilute acid to form metals, salts, while hydrogen gas is released. So here we can see the reaction for the same. Suppose you can observe here the chlorine is there. Okay, so chlorine needs one more electron to complete its octet. Chlorine needs one more electron to complete its octet. Obviously, chlorine will not release the 7 electrons because this is a larger amount of electrons. It needs only 1 electron to complete its octet, then it will borrow from 1 electron other element. So we can write over here Cl and E minus. So it is borrowing 1 electron and it is borrower. It is borrower. So hence here we can write Cl minus. Because of 1 electron it borrowed from another elements, hence the octet gets completed, and instead of this 7 we are writing over here 8. So it will be 288, and hence its octet gets completed. Similarly, we can write for oxygen also. Here you can observe in the outermost orbit 6 electrons are there. To complete its octet, there will be a needed of 2 electrons. So oxygen is borrowing 2 electrons from another element. So hence its octets get completed and oxide ion gets formed, and it will be a borrower, that is minus minus. Next is nitrogen. Nitrogen needed 3 electrons to complete its octet, and it is borrowing from another element, so it gets converted into nitrite ion, and it is also a borrower. So there will be a question why it is borrowing. Before this one reaction was there. Over there the elements loses their electrons, and here the elements are borrowing. So why elements borrow electron and why elements loses their electrons? So there will be a reason behind them. Whenever the electrons in the outermost orbit, less than 4 electrons should be there. If the electrons are less than 4, then they can release their electrons. If the electrons are greater than 4, then they can borrow the electrons from the another element. So this is about their reaction with acid, we can say. Here is the reaction. You can see over here this metal gets added with dilute acid, or it will having a reaction with dilute acid. Then the formation of salt is there, and hydrogen gas is releasing. Okay, now next reaction is chemical reaction, is reaction with water. Most metals do not show any observable and fast reaction with cold water, but some metals like sodium and potassium react with cold water to produce their hydroxides and hydrogen gas. Magnesium metal requires steam to give similar reactions. So these are things given over here for specific elements about specific reaction. Here metals like sodium and potassium react with the cold water, and there is a formation of hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Similarly, we can say magnesium metal requires steam for their reaction. So each and every element has a specific things for their chemical reactions. Okay. Now next is chemical properties of nonmetals. Chemical properties of nonmetals. So let's go ahead with nonmetals. Very first, as we have seen for electronic configuration for metals, here also we will go ahead with the electronic configuration for the nonmetals. Most of nonmetals have 4 to 7 electrons in their valence shell. As we know, nonmetal nitrogen having atomic number 7, and its electronic configuration is 2,5. Next nonmetal is oxygen, having atomic number is 8, and in its electronic configuration is 2,6. Another nonmetal is chlorine. Its atomic number is 17 and electronic configuration is 287. Okay. So here we will go ahead with the formation of ions as we have seen in metals. Nonmetals have a tendency to accept electrons in their valence shell to form negatively charged ions called anions. Before this, in metals we have seen cations, because they are having tendency we have seen metals, they accept electrons, and in non-metals they will accept the electrons in non-metals, and for metals they will lose their electrons because to complete its octet. For non-metals, here as the example of accepting electrons, I discussed this part previous also with reaction with acid part. I discussed all these things. Okay, we will go ahead with reaction with oxygen. Non-metals combine with oxygen to form their oxides. So non-metal plus oxygen, we are getting non-metal oxides. So here are the example for the same, that is carbon is going to pair with oxygen, we are getting carbon dioxide. And when dioxide is having a reaction with sodium hydroxide, then we are getting non-metals and water is releasing from the same. So we can say here Na2CO3 plus H2O. The oxides of non-metals react with water to form an acid. So this is the part of acid. This are the reaction. Carbon dioxide is going to add it with the water and we are getting carbonic acid. Same sulfurous acid, and another is sulfuric acid. And another important part is non-metals do not react with acids and metals react with acid. Okay. So I just stopped my lecture over here. We will discuss this topic in next lecture, which is uses of metals and non-metals. So today's your homework is you all have to write chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Your homework is you all have to write chemical properties of metals and non-metals.